Hey everyone, what's up? I am Tarun, your mentor from Eduplor. This video is a full detailed video on the process for the Canada study visa and how you can get it instantly from the Canadian visa officer. So, without any further delay, let's start with our today's video. I know not only you, but the majority of students from all over the world want to study in the top ranked universities of Canada as it can flaunt their career. Who doesn't want to add 5 stars in their career life and work for the betterment of their future? This is the most desired wish and hope for the overall population of the globe. And this dream can be true if the desire of studying in the well-reputed university can become a reality. Let's first talk about why Canada is termed as the most frequent students' destination in the whole world. See, Canada is the most desired destination among people not only to tour this country but also to get education from the top ranked and well-reputed universities of Canada. Innumerable students, the international students, want to receive education from the most prestigious universities of Canada because the quality of education, best learning environment, good education system, best faculty and many other facilities this country provides. So Canada has a lot for you. But to go there and continue with your studies on a foreign land, you will need a student visa and a study permit so that you will be allowed to enter the country and will be able to begin with your studies while being in Canada. So this is the prerequisite. Now let's talk about what is Canada student visa and study permit and why is it necessary to obtain it in order to enter the country. Let's answer this question. The Canadian student visa allows its holder to enter Canada legally, and a study permit will allow you to start your studies from any of the Canadian university which you have chosen for your admission. Hence, it is mandatory for every foreign national student to obtain these most crucial documents to become eligible for receiving education from the best institute of Canada. As we are going to discuss the overall procedure for obtaining the Canadian student visa, this video can be a lengthy one. So, I am going to divide this video into 4 modules which will start from your collecting information to flying to the Canada. Make sure to watch the video till the end so that you can be benefited the most. Let's begin this. Depending on admission cycle in Canada, you can follow the steps that I'm going to mention in order to get a smooth and hassle-free admission into the top-ranked universities of this country, this beautiful country. Let's start this one by one. Number 1, collect the information and start preparing for the essential exams. This should have to be completed within 10 to 12 months prior in order to take admission to your desired Canadian university. You will need to collect the information about, there are many things about the Canadian university that you wish to apply through the internet, for example, Google, Yahoo, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc., etc. Then search about the courses, application deadline, fee structure by the university and all these basic details, and download the information prospect from the website of the particular Canadian university. After this, check for the scholarships and bank loan options. After gathering whole information about the particular Canadian university, the university which you have chosen, you should start preparing for the most crucial, the most essential exams like GMAT, SET, IELTS, PT, TOEFL, etc., etc. Then, after this step, register yourself for the language proficiency test. Language proficiency test means IELTS, TOEFL, PT and all these exams. At least, now what should be the time? At least 1 month before the commencement of the exam. You must keep an intermediary time in order to re-register yourself if you got low marks in your first attempt, so that you can improve your marks in order to get admission in your desired Canadian university. Now let's talk about point number 2. The next important point is complete your university application form. This step should have to be completed. Within 6 to 8 months prior to your admission in the preferred Canadian university. You must decide your course selection and university preferences accordingly. You have to ponder about your interests. Start memorizing about the moments when you felt motivated. Remember the person, memory, any work experience. There are many things. Extra course, anything that inspired and motivated you to choose the particular course to take your career ahead with it. Now, let's take an example. Let's say there's a friend of yours who started his or her journey as a data scientist from the Canadian university. And you got excited to hear that, as it was the new term and new course for you, which he or she did from an international university. So it fascinated you, it attracted you, and hence you started discussing over that from him or from her, like whomsoever your friend was, right? After some time, you got inspiration from your friend, and that's why your interest shifted towards the data science. And now you also want to pursue this course from the Canada, so that you can be at a better position in your upcoming future. This is merely just an example, but it might have happened with someone, right? Yeah, I mean, these things happen. We see our friends doing something and we feel that this can be done by me as well. But not only through this, you can search about the variety of courses over internet, Google, YouTube, which can help you in choosing a best course for yourself and will benefit you in achieving your career goals. If you are clear of your career goals and future plans, then it will not become a difficulty for you to choose a program that will suit you the best. But if you haven't thought about your future and career goals, then this is the right time and you must start thinking about this. Make sure the program that you are choosing or you are going to choose is relevant to your past studies, that is, your schooling, your graduation, or others. If your chosen course is irrelevant with your past studies, let's see what will be the consequences. If your chosen course is irrelevant with your past studies, then it might become difficult for you to get yourself accepted, as you will need to justify strongly and provide a powerful reason for the sudden shift and change in your stream in order to convince the admissions committee in Canada. You'll have to give evidence, proof that why are you shifting from one course to the other. What's the reason behind it? You have to always remember that you can get the Canada student visa only when you have taken admission at the Canadian university, which is affiliated under DLI. I am sure after hearing the term DLI, you would have wondered about what exactly is it. Am I right? Well, DLI means the Designated Learning Institutes in Canada. There are certain institutes which are DLI institutes, Designated Learning Institutes. All Canadian primary and secondary schools are DLIs. Post-secondary schools need permission from the Canadian government in order to give admission to the international students. If any foreign national wants to study in the post-secondary school of Canada, then they need to make sure that it must come on the list of the DLI along with the course or the program they have opted for. So this is very important. Now, in order to become an international student in Canada, in Canadian university, there are 2 steps that you have to follow carefully. What are those? Let's discuss these steps. First, you need to be accepted in Canadian university under the Designated Learning Institute, which I just mentioned in this video, means DLI. After that, you will receive a letter of acceptance, LOA, and then you can apply for the study permit from the immigration. This is called IRCC. The full form is Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. IRCC, right? Every post-secondary school in Canada which gives admission to the foreign nationals has a unique DLI number. This DLI number is written on the study permit application form, which begins with the letter O. As in open. So, the application form which begins with the letter O, right? If a school is not designated as the DLI by its provincial or the territorial authority, then it is not eligible to give admission to the foreign national students. If you submit a study permit application from a non-DLI school, then it will be rejected instantly. But if due to certain reasons the school you attended loses DLI status, still you can stay in that school until your study permit expires, or else you can switch to another DLI. You can also apply through the Canadian intakes in the best universities of Canada affiliated with DLI. Now let's discuss the Canadian intakes briefly in this section. There are generally three different intakes in Canada for international students. That is, let me just tell you these three intakes: fall intake, winter intake, and summer intake. In many Canadian universities, these intakes are also known as the different semesters. Let's discuss all of them one by one in extra detail now. First is the fall intake. Fall intake in Canada is also known as the primary intake, which starts from the month of September. So, from September, the fall intake starts. Majority of the Canadian universities offer all their courses in the fall intake, which starts from September. Winter intake in Canada is also known as the secondary intake, which starts in the month of January. This intake is only for those students who missed their chance of getting admission in the fall intake. So if you've missed your chance of getting admission in the fall intake, then this is for you. Many Canadian universities offer a variety of courses in the winter intake. So fall intake, then winter intake. And the last is the summer intake in Canada is also, this is a summer intake, right? Is also known as the spring intake, which starts in the month of May. The courses offered in this intake are very few. Hardly any Canadian universities open admission in this intake. So, you need to start preparing for the application process and start working on your courses, on your course SOP or the statement of purpose. Few universities in Canada demand for an SOP, while many don't require it. Hence, make sure to do a well research and read the guidelines very carefully published by the concerned university in which you are aiming to apply. Then contact and get in touch with your teachers, professors, etc. in order to get 2 to 3 reference letters. At least 2 to 3 letters, the reference letters. Gather and arrange all essential documents that are required for completing the application process. Whatever the documents are required, just gather all those documents. Then submit your application form before the due date. Remember, before the due date, you have to submit your application form. After your application submission is done, you need to be vigilant and attentive. Any mail you receive from the university, you have to apply them in an instant. Mind my words, in an instant. Prepare and be ready for the interviews, either telephonic or video interview, and make sure you appear in it. If you receive the letter of acceptance or the offer letter from the college, don't wait or delay it, and quickly inform the college authorities about your decision. What decision you have taken, just tell them as soon as possible. In the last, pay the college fees in order to confirm your seat in the college. Step number 3. Then apply for your Canadian student visa. You have to apply. This is step number 3. After you have taken your admission in the Canadian university, you need to apply for the Canadian student visa. Start writing your SOP or statement of purpose, whatever you call it. It is abbreviated as SOP. The full form is statement of purpose. Start writing your SOP for the Canada student visa after considering all the guidelines as asked by the authorities. Only after reviewing your SOP and getting convinced with your intention of visiting Canada, the visa officer will grant you the visa. But there are 2 main categorizations under which you can apply. What are those? This categorization is the SDS category and the non-SDS category. I've already discussed about this in my previous videos. Let's start discussing about the SDS category first. Well, SDS is known as the student direct stream and formerly prior to this it was known as the Students Partner Program, or abbreviated as SPP, which is an initiative put forward by the Canadian Immigration Services. Under the SDS category, the student visa applications are processed quickly. So this is a benefit of SDS category. However, you can submit your SDS application in an online mode. In addition to this, students must meet certain requirements as set by the Immigration Refugee Citizenship Canada under the SDS category. In order to become eligible for the SDS category, there are certain requirements. What are those? For SDS category, if you think that you are eligible, you will need to score at least 60% or above in your academia and a minimum of 6.0 to 6.5 in your IELTS. And have to submit the GIC. GIC means the Guaranteed Investment Certificate, and 1 year or the 2 semesters fee in advance in the university at which you have secured your admission. So advance fee you have to submit. After this, you will be able to obtain the Canadian student visa in your hands from the visa officer. Happy? You've received the visa from the visa officer in your hand. Let's come to the non-SDS category now. Non-SDS or the non-student direct stream is a general category to apply for a visa application to study in Canada. It's a general category. Under this category, those students who are incapable or who are ineligible of meeting the SDS requirements will get a chance to apply. The requirements will also be different, as more documents may be required for you to submit. In SDS, less number of documents required, but in non-SDS, plenty of documents you have to submit. In order to become eligible in the non-SDS category, you will need to secure at least 50% or above in your academia and a minimum of 5.5 to 6.0 IELTS band, and have to prove yourself financially strong by submitting ample shreds of documents as pieces of evidence, like CA evaluation letter of your sponsor, the bank balance certificate of your sponsor, 2 years, now remember, 2 years ITR of your sponsor, the income tax return, and you must also have the good liquid fund. Liquid fund means cash with you. Here you will need not to submit your university fees in advance. This is, you can say, kind of advantage here. But you have to prove yourself financially strong in front of the visa officer, and that you can afford your expenses in Canada and will not get stuck in their country due to the lack of money. So you'll have to prove that you're financially strong and stable. Only after getting convinced of your financial stability, the visa officer can grant you the Canadian student visa. Now that you're familiarized with the difference between SDS and the non-SDS categories, but if I talk frankly, I would suggest you to choose the SDS category over the non-SDS category. There are several reasons behind it, but now you would be pondering that why and what are those reasons. Let's discuss them. I will be telling you the main reasons why SDS approach is considered better than the non-SDS for the Canadian student visa application. Let's discuss them. The first one is the less documentation. I mentioned this. In the SDS category, you need not to submit ample shreds of documents to prove your financial eligibility, while in the non-SDS category, you will need to submit a lot of documents to convince the visa officer that you are financially sound and can afford your expenses in Canada and your education in Canada. The second reason is the second one is the fast process. In the SDS category, you can get your student visa in just 45 days, while in the non-SDS category, you have to wait longer to get your visa application approved. So the time taken is also is one of the reasons. You must submit your fingerprints and photo as your biometrics. The visa officers use your biometrics to confirm your identity. After assessing all your documents, including your SOP, the visa officer will check your biometrics, and then they will start to process your student visa and study permit. If you need any help regarding your visa application, then you can contact us at Eduplor. We will help you by all means possible. Now, moving further, let's discuss who needs a Canadian study permit and who does not. Let's answer this question. Who needs a Canadian study permit and who does not? All international students who wish to study in the best universities of Canada and wish to enter the country need a study permit so that they can continue with their studies. However, some people don't need a Canadian study permit in some cases. In certain cases, it's not required. Let's discuss all of them one by one. First, if your study program, the study program that you have opted, that you've chosen, if your study program or your chosen course is less than 6 months, the duration is less than 6 months, then you will only need a student visa and not a study permit. But if the duration of your chosen course is more than 6 months, then you will need to obtain both student visa and study permit. Second, if you are a family or staff member of a foreign representative in Canada who is accredited by the Global Affairs in Canada, then you don't need a study permit. The next is if you are a member of foreign armed forces in Canada and are on official duties, then you do not need a study permit, but your family members might need one. So, in this case also, you do not need the study permit. The next is if you are a citizen of another country who has a registered Indian status in Canada, then also you do not need study permit. If you are a minor, means you are a child, right? If you are a minor in Canada, then you do not need a study permit if you are if you are in kindergarten, if you are a refugee or a refugee claimant, if your parents are refugees or the refugee claimants, or if you are going to preschool, primary or secondary school, and you have a parent who is allowed to work or study in Canada. So in all these cases, you do not need the study permit. Let's move on to the last section or the last module of this video, that is pack your bags and visit Canada. Last but not least, leave your home country and fly to Canada. After obtaining the Canadian student visa, you must book your airline tickets. Then start finalizing all your accommodation options, either on campus or in hostel. Apply and arrange for your international debit card or the credit card. Then start gathering all the relevant and essential documents, original as well as photocopies, that you must carry along with you in case of document verification in your university is physical. Finally, leave your home country and fly to Canada and start your studies from the desired, well-reputed and prestigious designated Canadian university. This was your dream. Now you can fly. Make sure that you follow all these steps that I mentioned just now so that you can secure your admission in your desired University of Canada. Now, let me just quickly brief you about us, that is Eduplor. We at Eduplor own the highly skilled and study abroad experts who give counseling to the students who want to continue their studies from abroad. Be it Canada, or the UK, or the USA, Australia, France, Russia, Lithuania, Ireland, New Zealand, and so on. We have helped numerous students to reach greater heights and achieve their dreams much sooner than they might have expected. We collaborate with these universities, all those universities whose mission and vision matches with our agenda of providing the best quality education to everyone, irrespective of where they are born. Each year we send countless students abroad to study in the best colleges across the globe. Countless students each year. If you want to know more about us, then make sure to visit our website. The link is given in the description below. So I hope now that I have made everything about Canada student visa procedure clear to you. But if you still need help from our professionals, then you must contact Eduplor and we will help you out by all means possible. All the things I mentioned in this video, you must keep in your mind in order to get admission in your preferred designated learning institute of Canada, your dreamland, your desired country. You must always remember that not all the Canadian universities are on the list of DLI, that is Designated Learning Institutes. Hence, you need to be attentive while gathering information from internet about any University of Canada before applying. Otherwise, your visa application will get rejected. So it must be in the DLI list. After getting the letter of acceptance from the Canadian University, you will apply for the visa and study permit if it is required, the study permit if it is required. After getting these documents, you will become eligible to enter into Canada and study there. If the video was helpful to you, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, a big thumbs up, and you can subscribe to our channel for watching more such informative videos and click on the bell icon so that you can get notified every time we'll post our new video. Check out our Instagram handle of Eduplor and follow us for new notifications and updates. The link is in the description below. See you again in the next video. Stay tuned and thank you so much for watching once again.